Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
So Josh was kicked out of the press conference.
This was just a harmless joke. Don't make a big deal out of it, okay? I admit that saying it at the White House was a bit disrespectful, but why is everyone suddenly accusing me of racism and personal attacks? Every time I win a match...
Those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them. I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views. And that is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got a problem.
I did not fuck with Josh Hokett's comment. I didn't like it. I didn't like the whole calling Michelle Obama man. Like,
former president.
Am I gonna chuckle? Like, yeah, am I gonna chuckle at how crazy it is? Yeah, sure. But it's like, I don't fuck with that. Like, no, like, honestly, man, Obama served this country, and you can have your differences of opinion with whoever the sitting president is, but like, they are serving this country.
Breaking news. The structural stability of live sports broadcasting compliance has been completely executed after UFC fighter Josh Hoit launched a volatile televised attack. This sudden radioactive post-fight apocalypse has completely murdered professional decorum and ignited an unhinged media war zone across the sports universe. Pinned down by immense public backlash immediately following his victory at UFC Freedom 250, the structural stability of the fighter's promotional future completely shattered when he hijacked the live microphone to spew toxic, defamatory rhetoric. The fallout from this severe behavioral escalation was instantaneous, sending massive shockwaves crashing through the executive establishment as a fierce global boycott erupts online. Turning the entire broadcast into absolute corporate madness, the unhinged reality revealed Hoit using his victory platform to publicly insult and spread completely basementless malicious claims stating that former First Lady Michelle Obama is a man, leaving older generations of traditional sports purists completely paralyzed with deep, agonizing depression over this extreme rudeness. The Liga's reputation is bleeding out. Comment below.
And obviously, Barack and Michelle Obama are public figures. And when you're a public figure, I mean, you guys know, it's part of the gig. But what I don't like, first of all, former First Lady of the United States, number one. Number two, a wife, a mother. It's gross, inappropriate, the timing of it and everything. Obviously not the opinion of the UFC and not my opinion or anybody else that fought on that card. And it was a really unfortunate thing to happen that night. When you hit this grand slam home run and have a perfect event in every way that it could be, you got a moronic, it's just, ugh. But, other than that, it was a great night.
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Left and right can both look at that. You can't tell me that everybody on the right went, yeah, she's a man. People were like, what an idiot. Anyway,
We'll move on.
I could go mental on this show right now, but I won't. But it was just, it was gross. It was just,
The issue for him is, what do you say? He could be a $3 or $4 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If you didn't do these wild antics, could be a $6-7 million a year through endorsements. Nobody's endorsing the guy that says Michelle Obama's a man, whether they agree with it or not. They want no part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They want no part of it. All these big sponsors, Monster, Dodge, they're not touching it, dude. And now you're there. Be yourself. You can get more endorsement money. They have no choice but to give you big fights.
Mm-hmm.
It got you here, dude. I'm with it. You beat the system. But now we can see the real Josh. Great athlete, great fighter, good mindset, self-belief like a mother trucker. Be that guy.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think he painted himself too far into the corner now, especially when it comes to corporate sponsors and all that?
The Michelle Obama thing hurt him.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt him for a long time.
Fans are boycotting Josh Hoit. They are saying what he did wasn't right by mocking our former First Lady.
So I loved the UFC fights last night. They were so fucking good. They were some of the best fights I've ever seen. But what I didn't like was Josh using his moment to call Michelle Obama a man. Like, the thing for me is it's not even a political argument. It's about diminishing a strong woman by implying that her strength, height, intelligence, confidence, leadership, all that kind of stuff is somehow a masculine trait. And just because she doesn't fit to like his societal norm of how women should look like or how they should act doesn't mean that she's a fucking man. It just really bothered me as a strong, confident, successful woman in today's day of age. It really hit a nerve with me because I have experienced similar hate by insecure men, and it's just gross. Like, it just kind of proved to me like how much this society hates women, especially strong women. Anyways, it really like kind of put a damper on the whole fucking experience for me. What did you guys think?
A UFC fighter is doubling down on a comment that's already gotten him into plenty of hot water. Immediately after winning a fight during his match at the White House on June 14th, Josh Hoit said Michelle Obama is a man. Hoit defending the comment on the Ariel Helwani show, saying he meant it as a compliment. He said, quote, "It's like she knows how to deal with adversity." But later in that interview, Hoit appeared to admit his intention was to stir the pot. He said, quote, "I thought it was a perfect time to take a jab." His initial words were viewed as so inflammatory, UFC chief Dana White slammed them. White is historically known to stand behind fighters even when they say something that draws criticism. The White House dodging questions on the topic.
I cannot physically imagine using the biggest publicity moment of my career, because mind you, he never set foot on an NFL field in a regular season game, okay? And he's 28 years old, which is a hard 28, might I add. I thought this dude was like 39, 40. Using your biggest publicity moment to bash a woman? Like, you just won your big UFC Patriot fight on the White House lawn. And you're like, you're going to get on the mic, and what's the first thing you say? Yeah, Michelle Obama's a man. Okay? The fuck?
He has been doing it. He has been mocking people. Remember what he said about Joe Biden? So he has been saying it. Let us listen to what this guy is saying. Then I play a clip of Josh Hoit saying about sleepy Joe Biden. He said it just like his boss in MAGA. So let us listen what this guy is saying.
You know, he's done this before. Heavyweight MMA fighter Josh Hoit made disgusting, misogynistic, transphobic, racist remarks before. Last night he did it about Michelle Obama. He did it about Michelle Obama in the past, in 2025. In 2026, he did it to Brittany Griner. I'm not going to repeat the remarks here, but you can find out what they are. And he was only on that stage last night because the president asked for him personally. The same president, the same person that spent years lying about where Barack Obama was born, who on the first day of his second term as president moved to erase the legal recognition of trans people, and who in February posted a video depicting the Obamas as apes. Hope the sun's gone behind the clouds. How fitting. You see, patterns of behavior reveal character. That goes for the fighter, that goes for the president, and it goes for everyone who was at the event and said nothing. I don't care about this fighter, but I do care about my character and yours. And to me, the important questions are, what kind of conversations do you permit in your presence? What do you feel an obligation to correct? And what does your silence say for anyone who might be watching? And I know my answer. In the presence of racism or misogyny or transphobia, I don't stay quiet. And that's not because I'm looking for a fight, but it's because silence is its own position. And I wrote a piece that dives into this on my site, deadbriefs.com. If you want to read the article, just make a comment and I'll send it to you. Now, you know and I know that they don't care about the company they keep. But we do, because our character matters. And that's worth fighting for. Be kind, feed your mind, and wash your behind.
The Incredible Hope says he's gonna put Derek to sleep like Sleepy Joe, but I liked Derek Lewis, and I just want to apologize for ruining the press conference last time, and I like Taporia too. I like Pereira. Those are my favorite fighters, and so I just want to apologize for all of that. Yeah, I'm nervous right now. It's just regular Josh today. Yeah, Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me, Dana. I'm trying to keep the incredible Hope from not coming out, and so I'm doing my best. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Anytime, buddy.
And he's been positive too. He's a real Josh all week, and so I want to give him credit for that. And Steve's been training hard. He's been waiting for his opportunity, and he's finally got it. And he has a tough opponent with Diego Lopez, and it's going to be a good matchup. But I think Steve, he'll be too much for him.
Really?
Josh Hoit has been banned from the next press conference for UFC White House card. And it's pretty funny considering the card's called UFC Freedom 250. One of the American values is liberty and freedom of speech. And he's been censored. Because they didn't agree with what he said. I mean, I don't either, to be fair. But the whole idea is freedom of speech. And they've technically taken out from him on a card celebrating America. And also mentioned the presser before he turned up was absolute pants, bro. It wasn't good. It was boring, the questions were kind of mid, and it wasn't exciting. And so Hoit piped up insulting Pereira, insulting Ilya, insulting Derek Lewis, all of them. Then it was fun. I don't like Hoit. I think he's a weird, I think he's corny, but he's entertaining. Taking him and Derek Lewis out of it does ruin it a lot. Not only for entertainment purposes, but also for the meaning of the event. You know, it's in America, liberty and freedom of speech, all that sort of stuff. It ruins that.
Okay, take a breather.
Oh
God.
I'm gonna.
He's back.
Alex Pereira. I'm gonna shama yo mama. I'm gonna shama yo mama because you probably eat hot dogs with Obama.
Nice.
Sorry about that. Sometimes he sorry about that, guys.
The truth about Josh Hoit is he's overrated. That nigga sucks. He really hasn't been tested well in the heavyweight division, and that's honestly not saying much because that division is so garbage. There's only a few good guys: Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira. That's pretty much it. His best fight was Curtis Blades, and Derek Lewis wasn't a challenge at all. Derek Lewis is on his way out. He's just fighting for money. He fucking gets gas. If he can't get that knockout punch, he quits. He's just a heavyweight Terrence McKinney. So I don't think he's really been tested. And the thing is, he's got outstruck by Curtis Blades. He landed maybe bigger shots, but Curtis Blades is not even a striker like that. He's a wrestler. So I think he needs to fight somebody who has real heavyweight power, and he'll get exposed. Like that, all that showboating and all that taunting, that's just gonna get his ass knocked out by an actual skilled heavyweight, an actual fighter who really knows how to fight, who's more well-rounded than just, fucking Derek Lewis. And I mean, Curtis Blades gave him his best fight. Curtis Blades is not a bad fighter, but he's not somebody I look at and see future champion, or will amount to anything in the heavyweight division. He's going to be a top 5, maybe now I'll say top 10 gatekeeper, But the thing is, it's just like I said, heavyweight is really not good. I just felt like he was able to get into a division where it's not as talented, If he were to fight in light heavyweight, or if he were to make it to the middleweight, which he's a big guy, so I don't think he's gonna go. He wouldn't go that far down. He would get exposed by a lot of really, a lot of skilled strikers, a lot of skilled grapplers. I know he was trolling on the armbar with Derek Lewis, but he didn't show no type of technique on that shit. And I just really don't see the hype behind Josh Hoit besides his gimmick, and he says a bunch of out of pocket shit, and a lot of dumbass people flock to that shit. But it's just all fake to me. I think he will get exposed once he fights an actual, real talented fighter.
Bro, that's my mom. No, she's not. She's
a man. She can't have kids, dude. There's no pictures.
She had me.
There's no pictures.
Why would you say that?
You got proof? Look at you. You don't even got proof. You don't even got proof. Don't even try.
Michelle Obama is overreacting and making a big deal out of nothing. I was just joking with her, just a harmless comment with no bad intent, but she took it and framed it as racism and a personal attack, which is not how I meant it at all. I'll admit, saying that inside the White House wasn't very respectful. But anyone who knows me knows I've always made jokes like this after winning matches or in casual situations. It's just how I talk sometimes. I've even said worse things before, and it was never turned into something this serious. I was just trying to lighten the mood a bit. What I said is nothing close to the kind of trash talk athletes throw at each other before games. So I don't understand why this one comment is being singled out. Is it because her last name is Obama? Or because of her skin color? When did everything in the U.S. start getting turned into racial politics like this? I can apologize and accept consequences if needed, but I still don't think I did anything wrong.
4 female boxers,
joined forces to demand that Josh Hockett be removed from combat sports. First, Claressa Shields. As a black woman, Shields said Hockett's comments were insulting and based on harmful stereotypes about black women. She posted a 10-minute video criticizing him and urged UFC President Dana White to take action. Second, Katie Taylor. Taylor believes combat sports should be built on respect. She said making such offensive comments at the White House hurt the image of the sport. She called for a blacklist to make sure Hockett never gets a chance to enter professional boxing. Third, Amanda Serrano. Serrano knows how hard women have worked to earn respect in combat sports. She said Hockett should face serious punishment for repeatedly targeting black women. She also wanted future TV contracts to include anti-discrimination clauses to prevent similar incidents. Fourth, Alicia Baumgardner. The current unified women's super featherweight champion was the first to speak out. She directly tagged UFC executives on social media and condemned what she described as Hockett's clownish behavior. She said she could not tolerate the malicious demeaning of female athletes and public figures through sexist and racist attacks that strip them of their dignity. Do you think the UFC will eventually give in to the pressure and hand Hockett a lifetime ban?
And this has gotten a lot of well-deserved attention and a bad kind of attention. Josh Hockett, however you pronounce that guy's name, the UFC fighter who decided to disparage Michelle Obama. Now, to state the obvious, it is disgusting. It is racist. It's repulsive. It's like, how could you say that about a former first lady? It is also, and it should be seen this way, absolutely freaking pathetic. And it's also pathetic that Donald Trump did not disavow these comments. Is it surprising? No, it's absolutely not surprising. Of course it's not surprising. This is a president who depicted the former president and his wife as monkeys not that long ago, okay? Of course he's not going to disavow them. Even Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports, not exactly a card-holding liberal, thinks he should disavow it, right? But of course he's not going to, because if he disavows it, if he tells his people it's not acceptable, then what does it mean? It elevates people who are better than him. And the Obamas are definitely better than him. And you know what I'm sure is driving him absolutely freaking crazy right now? That the Obama Library is going to open on Thursday. And between that and the parade for the Knicks, that is going to take up all the oxygen, all positive vibes around that thing. Mayor Mamdani is going to get lots of press. Barack Obama is going to get lots of press. And guess who's little sad guy who barely has an Iran deal? It's not even a deal, Donald Trump. But here's the thing. The man still lives in his own version of an alternate universe. So despite all of this, I thought it was quite telling what he said to the president of France. I just got to play it for you.
Then we had a really exciting, I think maybe one of the most incredible evenings in the history of the White House. We had an evening last night with the fighters, and I was very happy. I called last night, very late last night, to congratulate you, because in the heavyweight division, a French fighter won. I don't know, is that maybe more important than the World Cup? To some people it might be. To some people it might be. You have a good team in the World Cup.
Could you see President of France there? Like, no, it's not freaking more important than the World Cup. Some weird fight you had on your South Lawn. The World Cup is enormous, including in France, and they have a good team. So no, Donald Trump, I don't think anyone would say that the spectacle you put on for your birthday on the South Lawn is more important than the World Cup, which most Americans, including my entire household, are obsessed with right now.
I win a match, or even at other times I make jokes like this. It's part of my way of speaking, nothing serious. It's just that this time, the target of the joke happened to be Michelle Obama, and suddenly everyone started reacting strongly and criticizing me. People are really fixating on every word I said, even digging up things I said in earlier matches and using them as evidence against me. I honestly don't understand why something that was meant to be a light, irrelevant joke can turn into such a huge controversy. I was just trying to lighten the mood and be funny, but it feels like everything I say is being taken to the extreme. I can accept any consequences, and I'm willing to apologize if necessary. But I just want to ask one thing. When did the United States start caring so much about so-called racial politics and reading everything in the worst possible way?
Josh Hockett is never going to be UFC champ, especially in the heavyweight division. Josh Hockett versus Curtis Blades was great, but we learned Hockett doesn't have knockout power, and if he can't land a takedown, he's going to stand and trade. That's going to get him knocked out. If he were to do that against a guy like Tom Aspinall, he's going out cold. Right now, he has a 0% chance to hold the belt at the end of this year. It's not even an option. They know it's not happening. Josh Hockett probably beats a guy like Derek Lewis, but I wouldn't be that shocked if Derek Lewis knocked him out cold. He's hittable. Again, a super fun fighter, but I think he's going to end up being a gatekeeper type of guy. He'll beat bad heavyweights and never reach the top of the top.
Josh Hokit's remarks about Michelle Obama at Freedom Fest 250, unacceptable. They are as unacceptable as what the Democrats have been doing to Melania Trump. For months, we have watched the Democratic Party make the most outrageous and audacious claims about Melania Trump with zero evidence. Yet now, they're demanding an apology. None of this is okay, not from Democrats and not from Republicans. I am not defending any of it. But if you're going to be upset about what was said about Michelle Obama, where is your upset about what has been said about Melania Trump? The accusations made about both people are conspiracies. When are we ever going to see consistency from the Democratic Party? The only one that owes Michelle Obama an apology is Josh Hokit. But if you have participated and supported the rumors and the BS that's went around about Melania Trump, you need to have several seats in this situation. Y'all have a good afternoon. God bless you.
Josh, there's a lot of fans online that want to see Curtis Blades win. What's your message to those fans, and do you enjoy playing the villain?
They will ask why I gave a black guy a black eye. The simple answer is I'm full of hate because Curtis Blades was involved in Pizzagate. You sick bastard, you will pay. Am I right, Miami?
Democrats point out that Stephen Miller is an ugly fuck, and Republicans lose their mind. Republicans call Michelle Obama a man because they clearly don't know what a woman is, and that's always acceptable. Double standards. These sniveling little children were seriously calling for somebody's head when she made that post about Stephen Miller, but then this guy makes this comment, and then also my video gets removed about it because they go and the red hat wearers go and mass report it. There's no community guideline violations in that. I know this. You watch my content. It's very tame. But I contend the biggest snowflakes in the world are the red hat wearing MAGAs. They melt down at the simplest things. They clutch their pearls, act like big, huge victims of the same stuff that they are so consistently doing themselves, multiplied by 10. So they need to all just sit down, shut up, and stop whining. Let's just hope that this 80th birthday was the last birthday so we can finally move on with our lives.
Did you notice the smug smile on Josh Hokit's face after mocking Michelle Obama by claiming she is a man? No one realizes he will face 3 painful consequences for this. Recently, during a post-fight interview at the White House UFC event, Josh Hokit celebrated his victory while making offensive and controversial remarks about Michelle Obama, falsely claiming that she is a man. After saying this, he turned to the crowd and continued to hype them up, drawing reactions and cheers from the audience. Many online users criticized him for being disrespectful toward women, while Michelle Obama has not made any public response. At the time, Josh Hokit appeared pleased with himself, seemingly believing he would not face any consequences. However, serious backlash quickly followed. First, after his comments, UFC officials reportedly condemned his behavior as unacceptable and expressed strong dissatisfaction. He was allegedly removed from several upcoming key fights, severely impacting and halting his rising career. Second, as public outrage grew, multiple brands associated with him quickly distanced themselves. Many reportedly terminated contracts to avoid reputational damage, and he may also face significant financial penalties. Finally, his actions triggered widespread online backlash and calls for boycott. Even veteran fighters and industry figures criticized his behavior. Many believe that regardless of his future performance, this incident will remain a lasting stain on his reputation.
So, Josh Hokit, the guy who was so hungover he puked on himself during the weigh-in, grabbed the mic, and rather than thanking his team, talking about the sport, if you want to call it that, or uplifting anyone, called Michelle Obama a man. I guess that's what these guys have to do in their mind to remain relevant. When a fighter reaches the peak of his career on a national stage and all he can think to do is insult Michelle Obama, that's not just pathetic. It is the perfect, ugly summary of what this whole spectacle really is. And you know, it's always the 2-inchers who seem to have a weird fascination with what's in other people's pants. So creepy. Well, guess what, genius? You and your fellows were paid in Trump coin, which means it'll soon be worthless. So you better trade them in for some Trump merch at the White House gift shop while you still can. All this made me wonder, what do pit bulls have that are bred for fighting that UFC fighters don't have? Answer, pit bulls have brains. You know, malignant cancer cells must be jealous as hell of Trump's ability to spread his disease so rapidly. Everything he touches, in the words of Rick Wilson, famously, everything Trump touches dies. He isn't able to do one good thing for the sake of humanity. Not one single thing. That spectacle last night, with all of its creeps and level 10 idiots, looked like the deleted scene from Idiocracy. Utterly sickening. What an absolute joke of a country we are. I doubt I'll live to see any redemption of our standing in the world. We've fallen so low. Apart from all that, I'm on a hunt for a full list of all the sponsors from that low-life production last night. I hope you will too, and boycott them.
Hey Shane, how'd you enjoy the night, man?
It's pretty cool.
What do you think of Josh?
It was incredible. Can you please?
What do you think? What do you think of him saying Michelle Obama's a man?
I didn't love that.
Didn't love it? How come?
Why do you think?
A lot of people have said the opposite. That's why I.
Oh, I don't like that. Trump's job.
Yes, we're all good. We're all good. Thank you.
What do you think? What do you think of the cancel culture? You guys got me on a couple brewskis.
All right, thank you guys.
But yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh, okay.
But whatever, he was funny.
Hey guys, we're heading back. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shane.
Josh Hogan made a comment in the octagon on Saturday night or Sunday night after he won his fight. It was completely uncalled for. Josh has been in my gym. Josh was in the fighter meetings last weekend, and he wasn't doing the whole character thing. And when he's not doing the whole character thing, he's just a normal dude. He's a good fighter, and he's a great athlete. But the comments that he made in the octagon just made no sense. It was irresponsible. It was nasty. It was horrible, and it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. He started his post-fight interview, and he was going to do one of those gimmicky things that, honestly, like I think it's lame as. And then he stopped himself, and he did like an interview, and he was good. He could have left, and he could have made more fans than he walked in there with, because they would have gotten to see Josh Hogan. But instead, he goes and says the thing about Michelle Obama, who is as classy a person as you will ever meet, who has only represented herself, her family in this country with grace and class. She's been a person that it should be hard to take shots at, and it was just an unnecessary shot on her in a setting that didn't need any of that type of stuff. Because again, so many people right now in our country are trying to divide. That's the type of statement that divides, when in reality, we as a country should be trying to come together. So I absolutely hated that. I absolutely hated that.
Good morning, folks. How y'all doing today? Whew. Who else stayed up like you didn't have to be at work this morning and watch that UFC Freedom 250? If you watched it, I just got one question for you. Did y'all see what Josh Hogan said at the end of his fight? At his fight interview? That dude, I don't know if you like him or hate him. I think the dude's a little weird. He's a damn good fighter, though. And I was sad to see Derek go down like that. But that dude, man, all I kept thinking was, bro, you gonna be gone by the end of this week, man. Oh, my goodness. Let me know what you thought about what he said.
He says, F the speech, here's to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Dude, Josh, come on, bro. Like, okay, he might be a Christian. I don't know the dude. And I understand that his testosterone was flowing, man. He just won a fight. He's super excited. But, dude, you can't be like, hey, F this. Oh, and here's to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's a very bad representation of a Christian. So whenever you see Christians, people that declare that they are a Christian, and then they do what they did by using the profanity, but also disrespecting who was your authority. They're not anymore. I get that. The Obamas aren't our authority anymore, but they were. And we should show them a level of respect because of that. And anyway, man, this guy, he just, hopefully later, like, he'll come out and be like, man, I was wrong, but I seriously doubt it, because that's how people are. People just, we get so full of pride. And man, I mean, I would imagine there were a lot of Christians that agreed with him and laughed. And it's like, yeah, Michelle Obama's a man. That's not how we need to act. But we need to pray for this dude. We just need to pray for our country in general, because it's getting crazy, y'all.
No, I ain't here to be political. This ain't supposed to be a political video, but I think what Josh Hoit said about Michelle Obama at Freedom 250 yesterday was one of the most desperate and just absolutely just dick riding, attention seeking moves I've ever seen anybody ever do in my life, bro. Because, like, that was just so uncalled for and so unnecessary. And it just screamed, I'm desperate to get the president's attention. I want him to notice me. I want him to laugh at me. Because why the fuck even bring something like that up, dude? You know, not only is that something that's entirely old as fuck, you know, washed out. That was something that was around over 10 years ago and has been proven multiple times to be false. But it's also just so uncalled for. Like, it just came out of left field. Like, nobody was even bringing up the Obamas. Why the fuck did you have to? It was just so stupid to me, man. It's so funny because you could tell who the edgy 12 to 15-year-old demographic that the UFC tries to hunt for is out there, because they're like, oh my god, I was laughing so hard. I fell off my couch. That was hilarious. That was edgy. The libtards aren't gonna like this one. But I've seen so many, like, right-wingers be like, that was just really unprofessional and unnecessary. Like, that was just stupid and uncalled for. It's not hard to have human decency, dude. He's probably gonna get hit, like, minimally with a giant fucking fat check of a fine, and that's the least that's gonna happen to him, dude. Because Dana White's not gonna fuck around with the negative attention that's gonna bring to his business, dude. And I get it, the UFC's mostly right-wing, right? It's oriented towards that demographic of people, but at the same time, there's just some lines you can't cross, and that's one of them. That's just something that's gonna bring negative attention to your business, and Dana White's not gonna fuck with losing that type of money.
Well, I wasn't shocked by that derogatory comment made about Michelle Obama by that raggedy UFC fighter, because I remember that the company that you keep often tells a much bigger story than the one that you tell on your own. Because what continues to happen is that Donald just happens to find himself at the intersection of despicable people who build themselves up at the expense of tearing other people down. All God-fearing Christians, by the way. Every time this happens, MAGA says it's a coincidence, but at a certain point, you can't keep blaming a coincidence on the actions of a person who chooses to put people in their circle. And purportedly, Donald Trump is the president of peace. He can end wars, he can end conflicts, he can bring people together all around the world, but he doesn't know how to unite the people living here in these alleged United States? That doesn't sound like strength to me. True strength would be you regulating your emotions, you having restraint, you building bridges instead of tearing them down. And that's why this comment about Michelle Obama doesn't surprise me at all, because the company that Donald keeps seeks to inflame rage rather than to inspire change. During one of his campaigns, a comedian called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. They said he had nothing to do with that. His name is all up and through the Epstein files, and people that are connected with him, they said he has nothing to do with that. His supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6th. They said he had nothing to do with that. Posted the Obamas as monkeys on his Truth Social account, and they said it was a staffer. He had nothing to do with that. Now a UFC fighter is on the White House lawn and chooses to use a derogatory remark to respond to the former First Lady? Are these coincidences? I think not. It's the company that he keeps. The good book says in 1 Corinthians, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character. Instead of reaching for a middle school insult, you could have uplifted Americans. You could have encouraged Americans. You could have talked about the divisiveness in our country. You could have rebuked power. You could have shown young boys what dedication and hard work can get you, but you'd rather win the fight and still lose the moment. And if you really wanted to deliver a swift read, what you could have done is said, we're not standing far from our new $14 million reflection pool. That's a perfect symbol example of Donald Trump and his administration. A swamp that's supposed to be drained, but that is more green, murky, and vile than it was before. But none of that happened because the company that Donald keeps is not coincidental, it's curated. The president himself calls half this nation scum and unworthy of decency and human respect, and these are the same people who claim to walk in the steps of Jesus. But I promise you, the cross that you wear is not the same cross that Jesus chose to bear. Some are just learning that this administration is willing to sacrifice anybody to grift and get ahead, but I suggest that you start looking at the company that they keep, because that'll give you the clear answer even when they tell you otherwise. And to the UFC fighter, the irony of you throwing that jab at Mrs. Obama is that it swung back around and knocked you out instead, because you thought calling her a man was an insult, and it was, but not for the reason that you think, but because you have just shown in real time what the worst qualities of being a man looks like.
Anyway, I've been posting this, but let me say 80% are saying this wasn't right. You did a bad thing by mocking someone who has even never talked about you. Which advice do you give to this guy? And which advice do you give to Obama families? Do you think that they will sue that guy? Even the fans right now are boycotting his fights. Anyway, tell me what you think down in the comments. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Great Mind Flags. One love.